Okay, today we're going to be reviewing procedural text. Can you go ahead and say that with me? Procedural text. Excellent job. All right, what does procedural text mean? Remember, you covered this a little bit in writing. We went over this the other day. Now today we're going to be reviewing. Give you a moment to think about it. What is procedural text? All right, if you couldn't remember, it's okay. We're going to go over it. Procedural texts tell how to do or make something. The text or story is usually set up with steps to follow. These steps need to be followed in chronological order. Go ahead and say the word chronological order. Good job. Now, chronological order is something you do in order, right? So you might have the first step, second step, third step, then the fourth step. You have to follow them in order from first all the way down to the last one. You can't start with this step and then pull this step and this one. It has to be in order, right? In order. So let's go ahead and think about this question. Why is it important to know about procedural text? I'm going to give you a moment to think about that. Why is it important to know about procedural text? All right. Okay, it is important that we know about procedural texts because you may see them in your everyday life. Everyday life? What do you think I mean by that? For example, you may see them in books you read. So that in books you read, you might see examples of procedural texts. You may see them or you may hear them with directions or instructions for an assignment. Maybe your teacher is saying, okay, it's time to do this assignment. Here are the steps. So this is procedural text. You're going to have steps first, next, then last, first, second, third, fourth. Okay? Or whenever you're doing an assignment, sometimes the directions are on the top of the assignment and you have to follow them in order. Okay? Or sometimes you might come across something you need to do. So how to do something like how to tie your shoes. You have to follow the steps on how to tie your shoe in chronological order, right? You can't start with your shoes already tied. No. If you need to tie your shoes, then you need to grab both laces, then follow the order of it, right? All right, so let's talk about some words that you may find in procedural text. Okay, keywords you may find in procedural text. You may find the word first. I'm going to say the word and I'd like for you to repeat after me so we practice these words. First. Good. Next. Then. Last. Now, these two right here you might find, these three can be how your procedural text may end. So last. Or they might, instead of using last, they might use the word lastly, or use the word finally. So let's practice. Last, lastly, finally. Or sometimes you might see these keywords. First, second, third, fourth, right? All right, so what I like to do real quick is, I didn't go over them, but that's because I was saving them for the end of this little video, is some examples of procedural text. So let's talk about some examples. We did this on Monday, so let's go ahead and review. So some examples that you might see procedural text are in recipes, like sugar cookies and pumpkin pie. Remember, in these recipes, you need to follow the steps in chronological order. Right? Got to follow the first step, then the second, then the third. You can't go out of order. Otherwise, whatever you're baking or cooking might not come out tasting or looking very good, right? How-to books. So this is just a fun example, but how to babysit a grandpa, right? Or maybe if you are learning how to tie your shoes or ride your bike and you're looking at a book that has these steps in it, you need to follow them in order, right? You can't skip orders. You have to follow them in order. Or instructions for playing a game. So here's an example. Here is the directions and instructions for the game Uno. tells you the steps that you need to follow to play this game correctly. All right, so remember, procedural texts. Procedural texts tell how to do or make something. The text or story is usually set up with steps to follow. These steps need to be followed in chronological order. I hope you enjoyed today's little review of our procedural text.